time of year when I approach the little shed. What lies within the little shed? Let's see. Crawly. That's what lies within the shed. Ooh. So I get a lot of the decorations out and just sort of gather them together. And of course, there's my Skelly, the 12-foot Skelly. There's his little baby brother, doggy, spider, and all that fun stuff. In this bag lies many of the parts, pieces of the 12-foot Skelly. See, I've taken it out of the box, but I put it in this protective, very, very thick protective bag to keep it from any type of issues during the winter time and over summer. So we're gonna put this thing together, and you'll watch this step by step to see just how we get all these together and see what happens with it. Only because some of the time-lapse really doesn't do justice to this, but each one of these legs, there's a shape inside here that matches. So if you just rotate these around, the key factor is you get those beams going up and then back. It's really confusing when you look at it in your hands, but once you start to put it together, you'll start to see these shapes go up. Now, the reason I stopped here from the time-lapse is because this right here is very important. You'll see that there's a hole in the back here. Let me get in here. And that hole, it's hard to see, it's because of the light, is it gives you the opportunity to reach inside here and hit that button. Hold on just a second here, and we'll see. We'll give it a little bit of light. How's that? There you go. You can see that now. See that button in there? That's what this hole is on the back of the leg, here and here. So it allows you to lock that in. And this you have to spin. That top thing you have to spin a couple of times, making sure that you can kind of get this leg into place, because this hip is one solid piece. So you set the beam right on top of that first before you press that button in. And then you do the same thing over here. Then you ease the hips into it and it'll settle down easily once it gets into there. So now we've got to the hips. The rest, they suggest you have another person help you. I certainly suggest a ladder because I'm only 5'7", so I can't really reach up to there, but you've got to put this torso, and this is a very important thing too. Oh, okay, I just pulled that out of there. Woo. That's enough frightening things for one night. This is important. Right here, this wire, it's going to have to be going up to that wire right there. And it must connect because that wire goes all the way through, comes out here, and when it comes out here, we will attach it to the head here. Those wire connections are important for the eyes to be able to glow and look at you and scare you and frighten you. So anyway, there's that, and we'll see how bad we've got here. I have no idea how many more critters I'm going to find in this thing. So anyway, I wanted to slow that down just a second to show you all that, and then we'll go to the rest of this, piecing this together. It's pretty self-explanatory, but I will keep the time-lapse going. That, as it's facing the front here, is going to go up on top of this. Once we get that on there, you'll start to see how these arms fit, because these arms are shaped. If you see that, whatever that is, hexagon, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever size shape that is, it's going to go onto this arm piece here. Now there's two schools of thought. You can put those arms on now if you wanted to, and they'll snap right into place. Cool thing too is, let me show you this. This is, I think, pretty cool anyway. Is you can position these arms straight down to the side. You can come up to the front. Now you'll have to kind of see what way you want to do it. But I would suggest that you don't go too much higher. Like some people put them straight up and down like that, and they might want to be holding something up in the air. Keep in mind, you'll have this tightening screw right here to tighten down onto that inside there. So each one of these can be put on in any way you want, but you might want to wait until you get it all set up, because once you get it set up, you'll know how easy or difficult it is to work with. So anyway, here we go. So by the way, I'm showing you with this standing up, and I can put that torso on there. I put this together a couple times, but there's an alternative method to do this, and I'm going to show you that as well, where we actually lean this whole thing forward, lean it forward, put the torso on, and then we can start to construct everything from the ground. So it's not as dangerous. You know, you can go up on a ladder, and I will when I'm going to put the top part on, but this part here, we will actually lean this thing forward and put the rib cage on, torso on, and that way you can kind of see how we're doing that. And now truthfully, the choice is up to you. You really don't have to do one or the other, but I just want to show you this as an option, because I think the instructions pretty much so are adamant that you do this on the ground. And it does tell you to have 2 people, but it's not that heavy. So we tip this forward. Put it on the box here just to keep it so that it doesn't this is actually the skull box. Then you're going to need this piece, which is the upper torso, and then I'll come over here and show this to you as well, and then we'll put this torso over top of this. This will come out. This screw right here will come out, because this is what's going to be your link that'll go to the ground. This will be up like this, and this will be a link that goes to the ground and holds the skeleton from tipping over when there's windy days. So anyway, we will take that out and put it in, but here's the setup by leaning it forward. I'll go to the ladder on the head and arms, but this will help you so you'll understand. If you want to do it yourself, you can. It's that simple. I wanted to make a point of this because this is very important, that you actually hook these 2 wires together. So make sure you gather these together, hook them together, then you're going to tuck them up inside so that they don't smash onto this base. But you can see the shape of this base matches the shape of the top. So that shape and that shape will fit together, and these 2 will be snug. But these wires will be tucked up inside there. That's a very important thing. So you're going to need those wires completely connected on every aspect. Let's go ahead and connect those now. And then tuck it up inside, just like that. And once you slide this thing into here, you'll catch on the other end. You just loosen it up, and then you'll be hooked up completely tight. This is the torso, and inside this torso is where that post has to be solid. So we have to look and make sure that we are completely connected. And once we get connected, we will put the screw in right here. That long screw goes in and screws into the back of the post. And we screw that in. This will form the hook that'll hold this thing together with the cables onto the ground. So sorry about that. That was just a little side detour to show you that right there has to come through there. Mine wouldn't, because, well, there was a mouse nest in there. That's about the size of a volleyball. But so anyway, now we're going to assemble that, and we'll show you how that goes on. And this is where that screw will go in on the back once this comes through here, this right here. So here we go. Well, this is just so I can show you that there's an item here that it's really self-explanatory, but there's pegs in here with the center hole. And if you notice, this arm has the matching pieces. So when you line this up, you'll see that this forces the hand to almost be in the right direction. So you line those up inside here. See how this is? That and that. They line inside there, and then they twist. And as they twist, it locks into place. Once it locks into place, that hand should be facing the right direction. So remember the thumbs on the inside there so you can have those. Now these arms can swivel in multitudes of directions. Just you've got to watch how much wind you're going to have or what the space is going to be. And I leave these letters on here. No one sees it from the road. They look at the big picture of the skeleton. So here we are with the torso. We'll go ahead and start to assemble the head, and then I'll show you the base as to how you set this thing up. I extended the height a little bit here with the tombstone instead of that box. The box that the head came in is a little small, so I wanted it off the ground so I could assemble the head. So here we go. Once again, I want to emphasize the importance of getting those wires connected there. Those wires that are in the head is on a swivel. It's really just snap fit. And this right here, this hook will be so that we can string this cable, which comes with your Skelly, through that and onto the ground behind it to hold it in place. We'll show that in our final installation. But this is the skeleton assembled, and then this is one person, remember, so I'm going to just go ahead and stand this thing up. No time lapse needed for this. Let's just see how this thing stands up. Here we go. So just so you can see, there he is. There's Skelly in his glory. But the reason I want to show you this is because it is important. To move this arm, there's a screw right here, an Allen key. And that Allen key tightens this down. So if it's loose, this arm will come out. If it's nice and tight, it'll stay right where it is. And depending on where you want the arms to be, whether you want them to be extended forward or you want it to be kind of in this, I don't know, I would say prepared mode to launch. Either way, it's intimidating, no matter what you do with him. So, the next and last thing we do is we add these posts, which are leg extenders. Very important, trust me, very important. And when you put these in, these are simply snap in, press down, and it's in. Okay, that extends this leg out all the way around. It does it 4 ways. So you do all 4 of these, and that'll keep you from watching your skeleton bite the dust in a windstorm. So we'll go through. Those pins are up. Press it down. Then now we got the front suspension. I'm sorry, extensions. And we're going to come back here. Do this. These are pretty self-explanatory too, because they only come in one way. The one end is solid, the other end is tapered, and you press that button in, and it's in there. So now you can see that you have the base pretty strong, and if wind does come, it would at least stand a chance not to not to go crazy on you. But I always add this. This is another thing that comes with them. Do not lose these. These are very important. These are the stakes. I'm not going to put them in here because this isn't where it's going to be eventually, but you put these into the ground. See that right there? Just hammer those things down in the ground all the way down into here, and that's going to hold that base in place. Very, very important. So when you see these, do not throw them away. They're very important to the stability and base. So now I have to show you too one more thing. What do you do once you set this thing up and it's not where you want it? That becomes a real pain. So I will show you how I pick it up and what I do to move it. So here we go. Okay, so once you got your Skelly together, built. It's pretty cumbersome. It's not easy to move around, but there is a way to do it. Now, I leave the base legs on that are on the ground, and if you're only moving a little ways and you don't have any overhead obstacles, you can step inside this frame. And if you look, the weight is straight up above me here. So if you grab under the knees, grab up, just take a little step, and you can move it around. And there's another way to do this, and let me just show this to you. Because if you need to move it and there's something overhead, what you want to do is remove the two front leg pieces. These are the frame pieces from the leg that hold it on, that are in the outside. Remove them. Then walk this forward. This is about the middle of the weight right here. Walk this forward. And once you get it almost down to the ground, you'll feel the weight adjust. You can set the part on your shoulders, lift on this leg here, and it lifts up, and you carry it this way. So see, one person can move this around. I don't suggest you do it this way, but this does it. Well, there it is, the 12-foot Skelly pieced together, item by item, and show you how to move it. The only thing I don't really have a good statement on is how to store it, because I think I built a house for mouses, for mice. So the mice condominium has been eliminated. So now next, come November when we put this thing away, we'll just have to see how we can protect it from rodents and such. But for all intents and purposes, there's your Skelly, your 12-foot Skelly from Home Depot. And they're a great attraction piece for people to see. Everybody loves them. They stop and take pictures. Decorate them the way you want to. I've seen them decorated as Santa, as Easter bunnies, a little bit of everything. So that's the fun with these 12-foot Skellies. It's just an enjoyable thing to have for the yard, and mix it with the rest of your Halloween decorations, and it's a great accent for it. Well, here are the final steps. All right, so very important is this wire that was in there. Now, I put the leg extensions on here. I'm going to put a rock or a brick, a paving stone, on the end of all these. See how that one's raised up in the air? That could really pull that thing over in a wind. So I'll put some blocks on each one of these corners. But the key part, which we do have the electricity that we'll show you here in a second, this is where you take the plug. Where's that plug go? Pretty simple. It's a water resistant, not waterproof, water resistant tip. And that tip will go right into here. See? All right, so you see we've got this screwed in tight. Now what we do is we run this into this hook, and there's little notches down here, and that'll hold that wire in place. So in the event that anything would happen, it wouldn't. But this is where the rest of this wiring comes into play. If you look down here on the frame, there's a hook on the frame here. Can you see this hook? That hook is for the wire that I showed you, the coiled up wire here. We're gonna run that all the way up through that hook on his back. And this is where you definitely need a ladder unless you're about 11 foot tall. So we're gonna run that from this side. There's a hook right here. You can see this hook. We run it from here. We go up and through that hook. All you gotta do is get through the hook. You don't have to like tie a knot or anything. And you come back down and you get it nice and tight onto this hook. So it'll be a giant V behind here and you won't be able to see it. But the cool part is you take this wire, and this wire can run right along to that same thing and hook into here. And I'll show you that. All right, so what I mentioned about the wires, this is what I do. I take the guideline that's right here and I wrap the plug all the way around it. And that plug will I just kind of weave it around it. I don't want to tie it tight. And then that takes me to the transformer. And the transformer will take me to a plug it in, and it'll be ready to roll. That's some light up and move it. But anyway, that's the setup. And as you can see, I put a rock here on top of the base just to hold it in place. And that makes it so that I'm going to put more over here too, another blocks and stuff, a couple around the bottom. I've got some sitting here, I might move over to it. He's just sitting here with Sasquatch. So I put this all together here, set it up, put the pins in and drive them into the ground, so those pins are holding a little bit of this frame too. And then you can see he's kind of ready. But this is not necessarily his final place, but because it's early enough in the fall, I might be mowing the lawn again, so I put him in the gravel. And as you saw, it's easy to move him around, so I'm going to just leave him here for now. And as we get the decorations together, this will become kind of a haunted little graveyard here with Sasquatch will have a mask on. And so stay tuned for some Halloween decoration ideas. But for now, that's the 12-foot Skelly. That's how you put it together, and that's how you secure it in place. So if you have any questions, comment below. But if you like what you're seeing, please share this video to other Skelly fans. And we'll see if we can give you some better decoration ideas as we go along. Thanks for tuning in.